What is going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a good Tuesday. That was a fun one last night. Obviously, I wish I had that lineup in the 777. But it would have been nice to get the win. But nice to get the 20K win for the night, win the 250, and almost win the 88. So that was cool. Anyway, guys, so here's what I'm doing tonight. I'm just going to talk real quickly and then fire on any questions, say what's up in chat and all that stuff. But I'm going to talk about what I'm doing. Toronto is my number one stack. Boston is right behind them. And then you get into St. Louis, Cleveland, some Atlanta. And then I'm going to throw in a Dodgers stack or two. I do think Trey Turner and Freddie Freeman and maybe Betts, a great stolen base matchup. You don't know if you want to pay all the way up for that for the stolen base, but Syndergaard hasn't been quite as good this year. Does worry me a little bit because pretty good historically, obviously. But I do think the Dodgers getting some exposure there, and Philadelphia, I feel that way with as well. So that's sort of what I'm doing. I don't mind a little Reds mini for some value also if you want to go there for the lefties, especially. Davies really struggles with lefties. My top pitchers are Cole, Cease, Pivetta, but I'm mixing in some Bieber, some Manaea, and I really like Tyler Mahle being overlooked tonight a little bit at 7,500 as a spend down. So I'm good with that. Gilbert, Kikuchi, Bassett, all in the mix for me, but not priorities. But I am going to play a little bit of each of them, including the Manaea, who I mentioned already in a great hitting situation. But if you can get them to miss, it doesn't matter how hot and how far the ball is going to fly if you can get them to miss. So that's where I'm at. I don't think Mikolas is too funky. To answer that question from Rich B, I actually don't mind Mikolas to mix him into some of those along the Manaea line. I think, in low strikeout guy, but a guy who could really work deep into the game. It's a good hitting weather there today, but again, he pitches to soft contact mostly, so I kind of like that. I don't think Kikuchi is worth it for me, but I don't mind it if you want to go there on FanDuel. For a one pitcher, I'm going to be using mostly Cole on FanDuel, just to be honest about what I'm doing. And sure, it could go poorly, but I like that play. I like Cease as well. If I don't play Cole, those would be my two favorites over there. So that's what I'm doing. K9 Broncos got his power back. Let's go, buddy. Let's go. Let's make some money. Sorry you weren't here yesterday because we were pretty much on point with everything that was talked about, and it was definitely a really good day for me. So hopefully somebody else can turn in a good one tonight. And I'm playing that big 3,300 on FanDuel tonight. So that would be anybody else can win the DraftKings one. If you can ship me the FanDuel one, the 3,300 for 200K for first, I'll be happy, guy. All right. Let's see. What's good, Rich B? Yeah, man, this is pretty much it. And keep firing on any questions because I don't have, this is baseball. It's not like basketball where we've talked through a million different things. It's kind of obvious the guys who, you're going to play in these stacks. If you're going to play the Cleveland guys is the only one I would really recommend that you have to get a little bit different with, because I do think that that's going to be a fairly popular team. Considering the size of the slate, it won't be as popular as some other slates, and there's some great hitting conditions. So that's why I'm using Cleveland mostly as mini stacks, and I'm getting exposure to everyone in their lineup. But it's obviously the priority of the day. If you're playing cash and you're not playing Jose Ramirez, I don't know what to tell you. Just sort of the best player out there. Oscar Gonzalez also ridiculously cheap at 2,900. You've got Rosario and Jimenez, both reasonable. Naylor is a good play. So they're all good plays. It's just they're going to be owned. So I would try and recommend getting different. What I'm doing is also, if I have a full Cleveland stack, which I don't have many of, I'm going to play Bieber as my pitcher. Sort of they're playing comfortably with the lead, and Bieber can just go out there and attack and maybe rack up those 10Ks and be one of the top pitchers. And you play Bieber and Cole together, and I think you can totally make it work with some of the value we have out there. Other value obvious ones are Trent Grisham. Was projected him bat ninth. Now he's going to be, I think, fairly popular batting at the top of the order. You can also throw Mazzara in. I think that San Diego side is going to be fairly popular as well. The Cubs are going to be lower owned. I think Contreras and Wisdom make for really strong plays, even against a good pitcher in Manaea. I think the Dodgers, I mentioned the stolen base upside against Syndergaard is probably the worst. So you're probably going to see these guys run tonight. And I just don't think you're getting any ownership on the Dodgers. But again, Toronto, I don't love the lineup that they released. So I'm as much as I have of them, as much as I'm going to keep playing them, I'm not going to have as much as I thought I did. But I'm currently showing nobody on Toronto with above 10% ownership. And maybe on the higher buy-ins, that'll be different. But that's definitely something worth noting. And I'm very, very into playing a low-owned Toronto stack. They can just go nuts. And again, we see them bust, you know what I mean? But this is a team that can put up double-digit runs any night. and I love the matchup and situation for them. I love it for for Boston as well. Favorite pitcher on FanDuel is Cole or Cease. It's Cole for me, but I think Cease is completely fine. I don't have a huge argument. I will just say that I'm playing more Cole than I am Cease. But I think that, if I was playing a bunch of lineups on FanDuel, I would be mixing both of them in. Rich B won 350 and is at 300 max. Beautiful. Love to hear it, buddy. What's up to Peyton Wavy and Slick? And keep popping in any questions or thoughts, and I'll just sort of go over some of my ownership guys here, or the high owned guys. Third base, or I'll go by position. Catcher, Moreno, obviously, because I like Toronto. Alfaro is the obvious, even as a one-off batting sixth. I think he's a good play. I like Bethancourt quite a bit if you're not playing Pivetta in those lineups. I do have a good amount of Pivetta. But I think Bethancourt is a very reasonable play at his price. First baseman, Boston stacks Dahlbeck. Otherwise, it's going to be a lot of Vlad, a lot of Goldie for me today. Some Luke Voigt and some Freddie Freeman are the guys I'm playing. Second base, Trevor Story would be my favorite spend up, but I do like Tommy Edman as well. If you can play Jimenez at second and Rosario at short in your Cleveland stacks, if you want to go that route. I like Biggio as a part of my 5-man Blue Jay stacks, batting ninth. So I'm sort of into a lot of these different things tonight, but mostly I'm trying to keep my core a little bit tighter. Also Gorman for San Diego for St. Louis, although we don't have a lineup yet. Can St. Louis do a better job in getting their lineups out a little bit earlier? I know it's a little hard on a doubleheader, so I'm not going to give them a break. I'm just sort of joking. I love Devers at third base if you're going to pivot off of Ramirez and spend up. I like Patrick Wisdom in the middle. I like Arenado as another one to spend up, and I like Machado. Spending all the way down would be Tyler Nevin for me, batting fifth at 2,400. Shortstops, Bogarts, Bichette, Edman, Rosario, Jimenez. Those are my main guys. A little bit of Edmund Sosa if he makes the lineup today for St. Louis. And then in the outfield, I love JD Martinez. Oscar Gonzalez is a tough fade, and I've actually currently got to probably lower my ownership on him because I've got him in like 80% of my lineups, but I'm going to switch a lot of that over to Grisham. And I love Tyler O'Neill. Obviously, that's going to be a fairly popular one, but Gurriel, Springer, JD Martinez, Grisham, Gonzalez, Acuna. Those are sort of my highest owned outfielders. The team that I'm most afraid of being not heavy on is the Yankees. I think the Yankees are in a decent enough spot against Kluber, who doesn't really have that overpowering stuff anymore. And I think that they could really be an interesting team to target. I just am having trouble getting to them with the other stacks that I like, and I don't want to spread out. If you're playing like 30 lineups and you're playing 30 different stacks, you're doing it wrong. You should probably, if you're playing 30 lineups, be playing 5 different stacks, something like that. It would be probably the maximum. You don't want to go crazy with just spreading all the things out, but there's a lot of arguments for definitely getting different exposures tonight. There's a lot of good stacks out there. So you do have the St. Louis lineup, and Gorman's batting fourth. Okay, there you go. Edmund, Donovan, Goldie, Gorman, Yepez, Carlson, Pujols, Bader, Nisner, however you say it. No Tyler O'Neill, so that's going to be a big change I'm going to have to make as I get out of here, because Tyler O'Neill was one of my favorite plays on the slate, and I am not going to be playing Tyler O'Neill. He's not playing. On a big slate, 5-1-1, it's totally fine to go that way, Jim Steele. There's not a direct answer. A lot of people answer, 5-man stacks, so you have to do 5-man stacks. They're just wrong. They're just absolutely wrong, and if you don't, you're going to be different automatically. That's just one cool thing about playing a 4-man stack. But on this kind of slates that are big, I do tend to go for more 5-mans. But you can do 5-2-1, you can do 5-3, you could do 5-1-1, 5-1-1-1. All of those are totally good to me. I don't mind 4-2-2s on these slates either, or 4-3-1s. I would try to stay away from 4-1-1-1-1s, but I don't even think that's completely wrong in general. Just this slate, I don't want to do that. Rich B wants, can somebody post it? Let me see if I can post a link into Discord real quick and see if you guys are able to get this, because I don't know how Rich B is not in the Discord with us, buddy. We need you in here. We need everybody in here. So I'm posting this. Let me know if it works. It should be there now. So let me see if you're able to access it through that. You should be able to jump on in the Discord. It's a lot of fun. We got Rhodey is just the king of Discord. We got a lot of smart people in there and a lot of fun sweats, a lot of good people. We've really done a good job of narrowing out some of the early guys who were sort of brutal to each other. So we're happy with what we've got now. Yepez is going to have to become a priority for me now. Oh my God. By the way, you could even play Pujols if you want to get weird on with the way the weather is there, this is a time where he could actually hit one out of there. So I'm actually good with the idea of maybe doing a Cardinal stack and throwing in one Pujols lineup or something like that. That makes a lot of sense to me. On FanDuel, for what it's worth, some of the value. I mean, the issue I have is Austin Slater is going to show up as a great value play, and I think that he is a good value play, and he's got the power and all that stuff. But you've got Bubic. Who knows how long Bubic sticks around San Francisco unless they get a big lead? How they pinch hit all the time. So it just worries me to have Slater, even though I currently have him in one of my big builds. But you've also got other guys like Ref Schneider, who you could play in the Boston stack, makes things work at 2K flat. Arroyo's 2.1, but he's unfortunately batting ninth, so he's going to be a little bit trickier to get to. I really do like getting to the Toronto Boston stacks on FanDuel especially, so I'm into it. Rich B's in. All right, buddy. Way to go. Let's see. Pujols, whatever. You could say whatever you want, Pingalore. The guy's one of the best hitters in the history of baseball. And to just say he's bad against righties is just a weird small sample. And he doesn't really hit against righties hardly ever anymore. So it's really hard to judge. You're talking about like, what has he had? Like 35 at bats over the past 2 years against righties. It's really not that many. So don't even let that factor into your thinking, in my opinion. But again, it's not like I'm not saying go out there and play a bunch of pools. I'm talking about 1 out of, 10 of my St. Louis stacks. So that's where I'm at. It's always really funny when people say that. It's like everybody who wrote off Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins is just terrible. Can't do anything. Look what he's doing right now. We write guys off too early when they're older. And look at Matt Carpenter. He would have won everybody all the money if he just played Matt Carpenter every day. And then we judge way too early on players who are young and just say they're bad at this and they're bad at this. Oh, Piccolo, that's funny. Yeah, no, I was just throwing it out there because I think that happens a lot, and I hear those things on shows, and people are spouting out more and more stats that are just factually inaccurate. It's like one of the guilty pleasures of mine that I love to just go and see. Okay, they're saying this is the way it is, but like what was the one I heard the other day? Well, Atlanta, you can't play a pitcher against Atlanta because Atlanta doesn't strike out. Well, they lead the league in strikeouts, or now they believe they're second. So people just don't know what they're saying sometimes. And it's really, really funny they get away with it. All right. So I'm pretty much ready to, answer anything, talk about anything. I'm going to have to make a bunch of edits to my lineups, as I sort of expected that I might, because of all this, the weird, not the weird St. Louis lineup, but just not having the O'Neill in there. It also does worry me a little bit. If they would they possibly pinch hit him for a lefty? In stacks, it doesn't matter, but maybe as one-offs, maybe you could say, I don't even know who you'd say, Gorman. Gorman has carried some risk. I think he was pinch hit, or they pinch fielded for him later in the game yesterday. Yepez is a righty also, so that's not going to make any difference. But Gorman as a lefty, maybe they do something funny with that. Just something to consider. Not nothing to get overly worried about, but they did pinch it for Gorman yesterday, or they pinch fielded for him. I can't remember which, but he definitely didn't play later in the game when St. Louis scored their runs. Tyler O'Neill, wow, he's in a ton of my lineup, so that's going to be a big going over for me. And it's not a direct pivot to Yepez because Yepez is 3,700, so that's going to be a little bit of work for yours truly, and that's just the way it's going to be. There's a lot of good little weird values out there that some might get some ownership, but I think Pinder is the guy you could take a chance on against Pivetta, lower the pinch hit risk against. Pinder against righties not always as good, but does have enough pop to hit one out. Grisham is the obvious one. Ref Schneider again, 2,200. If you're not playing C's, Victor Reyes at 2,300. These are just value savers, but there are enough of them out there to where I think they're at least worth mentioning. Adam Engel at again, if it's not a lefty starting and you're seeing Adam Engel in there, and again, they're probably going to bring a lefty in long relief, but you probably get more security in those at bats. And Mazzara at 2K flat is also another one you can consider. Even Ryan McKenna for Baltimore is a guy who, maybe if you just desperately needed to go down and you wanted to get some different variations, that would be a guy you could consider. I'm actually Chad Pinder up right now. I do like the idea of getting to a couple A's cheapy. Like I have a little bit, not all, maybe 2 together, maybe 3 at the most. But Pivetta, as good as he has been, like we know Pivetta's got a bus path. We got no Arenado in the line. I didn't see. I must have missed that Arenado wasn't in. Oh boy, that's going to force me to change a bunch. So I'm going to stay here for a couple more minutes. Would I play Trey over Ramirez for Contreras for Contrarian? They're not the same position. I don't see the relevance of that question because they're not at all the same position. So I would play Trey Turner and I would play Jose Ramirez. I like both of them a lot today, so I don't know what else to say there. Rosario. Oh, I don't think there's anything contrary. Oh, Rosario, but again, those are not the same position either. Rosario is a shortstop, so I don't know what's that. Nolan is out too. Oh, what the hell's happening with the St. Louis lineup? I have got to double check this. I thought we said Gorman was hitting fourth. What Nolan is out? So, let's see. No, it doesn't make any sense. The next line down either. Sorry, bud. I just don't understand what it means because it's Rosario is not the same position as Ramirez. So I really don't understand. Yeah, Dodgers, Trey Turner. Those are different positions. Oh, Turner or Rosario? Yeah, I would play Turner. I mean, they're completely different price points, but yeah, I would play Turner. I just said I love Turner. So, but I also love Rosario. Gonsolin is not going to make it for me today. Look, he's really good. He's a good pitcher. I don't know what else to say. He is good. And I've said this about him a lot. I was the one who was talking about playing him when he was back in his 70-ish 100 days. And he's been really consistent. I worry a little bit about the upside, both strikeout wise and how deep he'll go into the game. He hasn't eclipsed 6 innings, which is fine. But when you're comparing him with guys like I would rather play Shane Bieber at 0 ownership just because Bieber has like the insane strikeout upside that probably is unparalleled by anyone except for maybe Garrett Cole on this slate, and no one's going to play him. Whereas you have Gonsolin, who you're kind of hoping keeps getting by and pitching those 6 good innings with 5 strikeouts and giving up nothing. And like he has to give up like nothing. Bieber can give up a couple home runs and strike out 10 or 11 guys, and we're very happy with him. Yeah, I got you now. The Trey Turner instead of Rosario. Just the Ramirez part threw me off, so I couldn't understand that part. But anyway. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to bounce unless there's any other questions. I think we covered most of the things. Again, Toronto, Boston, mini Cleveland's for me mostly. I will have one or two full ones. I like I'll get to a little Atlanta. I'll get to a little Philadelphia. I'll get to a little Dodgers, and I'll get some Reds minis. And those are mostly secondaries for me. All right, guys. Good luck to everybody tonight. Somebody take one down. Hopefully, we'll be in Discord all night, and we'll hopefully be celebrating again as it's like 1 a.m. And please, before you get out of here, smash the like button. We appreciate it. It really helps us out. And thanks to you guys for being loyal to True DFS. And let's make some money. Let's get another True DFS win tonight. Good luck, everybody.